Good evening, dear students. Once again, I welcome you all to this live session with one and only Dr. N.K Sharma. And the topic for today is how to score 360 out of 360 in biology. As like we are getting many queries from past few days that we should have a particular session on biology as a subject, like students are finding so many difficulties. So before we begin, I request every student who is watching this to post your questions in the comment section. Sir will try to answer all your queries related to the biology as a subject. So I request our Vice Chairman, Air Marshal Dr. Pawan Kapoor, sir, to please brief about today's topic and to introduce Sharma, sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Priya. Good evening, dear students. And of course, a warm welcome to Dr. N.K Sharma. He has been with us in the past few weeks, trying to reach out to all the students who are preparing for NEET. And as we are drawing closer to the date of NEET examination, I know pressures are mounting, stresses are there. That is why we tried to address stress last time. I am very grateful to Dr. N.K Sharma for being here with us. I need not introduce him. You all know him very well. He is a very prominent academician, very prominent figure in NEET circles, and many students have benefited from his benevolence and from his knowledge. He himself is a thorough professional, a thorough gentleman, and a very astute and a very capable teacher. So I will not try to stand between you and him. Today's subject is important because biology is a very important subject for NEET. You know, you can maximize your scores in biology. And you also know that biology tells you factual knowledge. It does not require so much of conceptual knowledge. It requires you to understand the concepts. Otherwise, things do not change. So if normal human being has got 2 kidneys, abnormal may have a few more or may have less. But if a normal individual has got 2 kidneys, it will remain 2 kidneys. Okay, so nobody will ask you the question, where is the 3rd kidney located? So, you know, it is a very factual science. If you understand it correctly, you will be able to score full marks. How to maximize your potential in biology, how to maximize your marks in biology, that will be discussed and deliberated upon by Dr. N.K. Sharma today. So Dr. N.K. Sharma, as usual, please use your charm and your knowledge to guide our dear students to achieve the maximum marks in biology.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you again, once again, for your kind words. And it becomes an embarrassment of sorts, actually, listening some praises from you. And sir, thank you so much, sir. And this is a subject that that is close to my heart. This is biology we are talking about. And let me tell you something very, very clearly at the beginning. Point number 1. You do not prepare for 360 out of 360. Now, do not create this unnecessary pressure. Now, what I mean to say, I do not want to score 360 out of 360? No, I want to score 360 out of 360. That is my target. But I am not saying that if this is not, does not happen, then nothing happens. मैं अपने ऊपर इस तरह का pressure नहीं बना रहा हूं. मेरा मकसद ये है, in biology, absolutely, this is absolutely correct, with proper strategy, proper planning, proper input, 340 plus is doable. So we are looking at a number, that we can be absolutely sure about. And this number is 340 out of 360. So we are saying that 360 out of 340 out of 360 is doable. Yes, it can happen. 360 can happen, but that happens on the day of the examination. So पहली चीज, मैं अपनी तरफ से बायोलॉजी में 340 से ऊपर जाना चाह रहा हूं. और मेरे को अगर उस दिन कॉन्फिडेंस हुआ, मेरा टाइम साथ हुआ, तो मैं 360 में से 360 स्कोर करने की कैपेबिलिटी रखता हूं. मैं करना चाहता हूं 360, लेकिन अभी बिना बात के एग्जाम से पहले 360 जब करके मैं प्रेशर क्रिएट नहीं कर रहा हूं. आई विल डू वेरी वेरी वेल इन दी बायोलॉजी एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन, नीट एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन. बायोलॉजी में कितना किया जा सकता है बड़ी आसानी से, जिसे आप पक्के तौर पे कह सकते हैं, जैसा मैंने आपसे कहा कि कोई भी शक नहीं है कि 340 मार्क्स आप बड़ी आसानी से स्कोर कर सकते हैं. अब इसका तरीका क्या है, देखिए बड़े ध्यान से इसको बात को समझिएगा. बायोलॉजी में ऑलमोस्ट ऑल पेपर, आई वुड से ऑल पेपर, पर मैं डर के, ताकि एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन के दिन आप मुझसे कुछ ना कहें, यू शुड नॉट रेज अ फिंगर ऑन मी, सो आई एम सेइंग दैट ऑलमोस्ट ऑल पेपर विल बी फ्रॉम एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट बुक. So a beauty about biology syllabus that is coming in the NEET entrance exam is that it is limited to a textbook, and this textbook is provided by the NCERT. So point number one is we immediately know that what is our focus. So this is one subject where if you have 90 questions, I can absolutely assure you that there would be 87 questions at least directly from NCERT. I want to write 88, 89, but to be on safer side, I am writing 87. In these 87s, more than 65 would be absolutely direct, which means that there are some bold headings in the NCERT, there are some definitions, there are some examples, and you will feel as if it is the line of the NCERT that has been reproduced in the entrance examination. आपको ऐसा लगेगा entrance examination में बैठ करके कि बिल्कुल NCERT की लाइन ही आ गई है. So यहां से हमें एक और बात पता चल गई. If this is so, then that means you will have to read NCERT. NCERT क्यों पढ़नी चाहिए? दो वजह हो गई. एक, मेजर क्वेश्चंस एनसीईआरटी से आएंगे, दूसरा लाइंस होंगी एनसीईआरटी की. इफ देयर इज लॉ ऑफ सेग्रीगेशन, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द लॉ ऑफ सेग्रीगेशन. एवरी ऑथर विल हैव his or her own language to describe the law of segregation, and if the lines are replicated from the NCERT textbook, it would be an advantage if you have read segregation law from NCERT textbook itself. So दोबारा मैं ऐसे कह रहा हूं, हिंदी इंग्लिश के लिए मैं इस तरह से बात कर रहा हूं. अगर कोई इस तरह की चीज है जो एनसीईआरटी से उठ के ही आनी है और आपने एनसीईआरटी से ही उसे पढ़ा हुआ है, तो आपको एग्जाम में एडवांटेज होगा, आपका टाइम बचेगा. सो पहली चीज तो ये हो गई कि एनसीईआरटी इज द ओनली टेक्स्ट बुक दैट नीड्स टू बी फॉलोड. आई होप दिस थिंग इज नाउ एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर. सो पॉइंट नंबर 2 इज दैट एनसीईआरटी इज एब्सोल्युटली वाइटल. अब क्या इस एनसीईआरटी को पढ़ा कैसे जाए? Now, obviously, we are talking about a very practical thing. हम यहाँ पर concrete बातें करेंगे, कोई हवाबाजी की बात नहीं करेंगे. देखिए बेटे, प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है कि जिस टाइम पर मैंने बच्चों को पढ़ते हुए देखा है, ये स्किम करते हैं बहुत तेजी से. दे डू नॉट इन्वेस्ट टाइम इन द फर्स्ट रीडिंग ऑफ द एनसीईआरटी. दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स फेस. होता क्या है, दे जस्ट कीप ऑन रीडिंग, दे कीप ऑन फ्लिपिंग द पेजेस, एंड दे कीप ऑन रीडिंग द एंटायर थिंग एंड डू इट डे इन एंड डे आउट, बट दे आर नॉट स्टॉपिंग आफ्टर रीडिंग अ फ्यू लाइन्स, thinking, relaxing back, and then thinking what they have read, and make some notes on their own, and then check the notes from the NCERT textbook. मैं आपसे कह रहा हूं कि जब आप NCERT पढ़ते हैं तो एक पैराग्राफ पढ़िए, उस पैराग्राफ को पढ़ने के बाद में रुकिए और थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स करके पीछे रिफ्लेक्ट कीजिए कि आपने पढ़ा क्या है, और जो चीज आपको लग रहा है कि आपने पढ़ा है उसको एक नोटबुक में एक बार लॉग कर लीजिए, और फिर ये देखिए कि जो आपने इंफॉर्मेशन अपनी लॉग बुक में लिखी है ये वही इंफॉर्मेशन एनसीईआरटी में है कि नहीं है. अगर है तो इसका मतलब आप समझ पा रहे हैं, आप आगे बढ़ जाइए. ये चीज अब जिंदगी में कभी भी आपकी गलत नहीं होगी. द बेसिक थिंग इज प्लीज इन्वेस्ट टाइम इन एनसीईआरटी. एजुकेटेड इन हिंदी इज कॉल्ड एज पढ़ा लिखा. So educated हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? पढ़ा लिखा. So now the problem with today's generation, one problem that I see is that they are not likha, they are only padha, which means they just read, they do not write, and that is the basic problem. अगर आप जितना लिखेंगे, इट इज अ डबल रीइंफोर्समेंट. आप सोच करके लिख रहे हैं, आंख और आपका हाथ, मोटर मेमोरी भी बन रहा है. एंड इफ यू प्रैक्टिस राइटिंग, मुझे पक्के तौर पे भरोसा है कि एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में आपकी मेमोरी आपको नुकसान नहीं पहुंचाएगी, आपको दगा नहीं देगी, आपको चीजें याद आ जाएंगी. सो ऑलवेज प्लीज ट्राई टू राइट एज मच एज पॉसिबल. Read a paragraph and try to relax, and then think what you have read, log it down, and then cross check whether this is the thing that you actually read or not. और यहां से there would be some very surprising results. अब आप कहेंगे कि सर आपने ये भाषण दे तो दिया, क्या इतना टाइम बचा हुआ है? इज इट, क्योंकि एक और एंजाइटी क्रिएट होती है बच्चे की। सो एक और एंजाइटी क्रिएट होती है, वो कहेंगे सर 17 जुलाई को एग्जाम है, क्या हम ये काम कर सकते हैं? सो बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं, मैं अभी आपके सामने प्रूव करता हूं। इधर देखिए, एनसीईआरटी की 2 टेक्स्ट बुक्स में 38 चैप्टर्स हैं। इस 38 चैप्टर्स में आपने 1-2 साल में पढ़ा है, और आपने ये कहा कि 18 चैप्टर्स ऐसे हैं, लेट अस से, जो कि मेरे 5 स्टार चैप्टर्स हैं। इसको मैं स्टेरिंग का कंसेप्ट कहता हूं। सो देखिए बड़े ध्यान से, मैंने इसमें एक जगह अपने चैप्टर्स को 5 स्टार दिया। 5 स्टार का मतलब ये है कि यहां पर क्वेश्चन अगर आज आ जाए, इफ द पेपर इज हेल्ड टुडे, आई एम रेडी टू अपीयर इन द एंट्रेंस एग्जाम टुडे इटसेल्फ, दिस टॉपिक इज एब्सोल्युटली प्रिपेयर्ड। कुछ भी हो जाए, मैंने पिछले 2 साल में इतनी तैयारी जरूर की है कि 38 चैप्टर्स में से 10, 12, 15 कुछ तो चैप्टर्स होंगे जो मुझे बहुत अच्छे से आते हैं, और ये मेरे 5 स्टार है। डर से नहीं चलना है। डू नॉट बी ड्रिवन बाय द फियर, क्योंकि ज्यादातर बच्चों का ये फियर होता है, अरे यार गड़बड़ ना हो जाए, क्या एक बार और पढ़ लें, अगर ये टेस्ट 2 दिन बाद हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छा होगा, मेरा सिलेबस खत्म नहीं हुआ है, एक बार रिवीजन की और जरूरत है। दिस इज व्हाट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स थिंक, एंड दिस इज बीइंग ड्रिवन बाय फियर। दिस इज द फियर। अगर आपको यह पता है कि आपने टाइम लगाया है, यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड टाइम, यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द थिंग, यू हैव रेड इट 3 or 4 टाइम्स, देयर शुड बी नो फियर एट ऑल। आपको अपने ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए। नाउ गेट रेडी टू कन्फ्रंट द क्वेश्चंस। अब क्वेश्चंस करने से आपको पता चलेगा कि आपका जो एंथुसियाज्म था, आपका जो बिलीफ था, वेदर इट वाज ट्रू और नॉट। सो दिस इज व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन। गुड एनफ इज गुड एनफ। परफेक्शनिज्म इज अ वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम। परफेक्शन इस सिलेबस को खत्म नहीं कर पाएगा। स्टेरिंग कीजिए। आप ये बताइए कि ये मेरे 5 चैप्टर है, लेट अस से आपने कहा जी मैंने एनिमल किंगडम बहुत अच्छी तरह से पढ़ा हुआ है, मैंने से फॉर एग्जांपल फोटोसिंथेसिस आई हैव रेड वेरी वेरी वेल, सो दीज आर माय 5 स्टार चैप्टर्स, सो व्हिच मींस दैट आई हैव अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ 36 चैप्टर्स नॉट 38. So this is how you go for a reductionist approach. और अब आपको ये समझ में आ गया कि ये वो 5 स्टार वाले चैप्टर हैं जिनके एकदम मैं बुरी तरह से तैयार हूं, और आपको नाउ द प्रॉब्लम इज 20 चैप्टर्स. नाउ प्लीज ट्राई टू लिसन टू दिस वेरी क्लियरली. सर ने अभी आपसे ये कहा कि डायरेक्ट फैक्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस हैं बायोलॉजी में, डायरेक्ट फैक्ट बेस्ड. नाउ प्लीज टेल मी व्हाट इज योर रीडिंग स्पीड. What is your reading speed of a novel that you have read a few times? आपने जो नॉवल को कई बार पढ़ा हुआ है, क्या ये बात सही है कि आप 1 घंटे में 6-7 पेजेस पढ़ सकते हैं? Can you read 6 or 7 pages of a book that you have read many times? Can you read 6 pages, let us say, in 1 hour? And if you can do that, so we are talking about only 40 hours in 11th and only 20-30 hours for the remaining chapter in class 12th. So this is only 70-80 hours. In 70 hours, if you go by 5 pages per hour, this would be 350 pages. The both NCRT of 11th and 12th has only 500. Still, there is a lot of time available to do it actually twice or thrice. अभी भी बहुत टाइम है, लेकिन उनके लिए टाइम कभी भी पूरा नहीं होगा जो सोचते रहते हैं, करते कुछ नहीं. Those who do nothing and blame everything, उनके लिए टाइम कम है. लेकिन जिसने ये सोच लिया कि कोई बात नहीं, अभी से मैं काम शुरू करूंगा, रोज के 5-6 घंटे, 3 घंटे भी मैं बायोलॉजी को लगाता हूं, तो बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं सर कि मैं एनसीईआरटी दोनों 4-5 बार पढ़ सकता हूं, बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस कर सकता हूं, एंड देन आई एम एब्सोल्युटली रेडी. If this is only the 500 pages and 80 questions will come from these 500 pages only, then we are talking about the medical field. जब आप फर्स्ट ईयर एमबीबीएस में चले जाएंगे, आपको ग्रेज एनाटॉमी पढ़नी पड़ेगी. ग्रेज एनाटॉमी, एग्जामिनर आपकी क्लास में आएंगे और आपके जो बॉस हैं वो आएंगे, वो आपसे कहेंगे कल सुबह एग्जाम है, एंड देयर वुड बी अ होल सेक्शन, और आप देखेंगे, यू विल बी अमेज्ड ऑफ योर कैपेबिलिटीज कि आप पूरी रात पढ़ करके सुबह एग्जाम भी देंगे और अच्छा भी करेंगे. दिस इज योर इनेट कैपेबिलिटी. इसको इस टाइम पर रियलाइज करने की जरूरत है, जिसे कहते हैं हठ योग. मैं नहीं या कोई नहीं, अगर मैं यहां जम गया तो उठूंगा नहीं, चाहे जो मर्जी हो जाए, जब तक अपना काम खत्म नहीं करूंगा, डिस्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होऊंगा. बैठ जाइए, बहुत टाइम है अभी भी करने के लिए. मुझे उम्मीद है यह बात बहुत अच्छी तरह समझ में आ गई. तीसरा पॉइंट, तीसरी जो एक गलती मैंने बच्चों को बायोलॉजी में करती देखी है, व्हाट इज द थर्ड मिस्टेक? द थर्ड मिस्टेक इज दैट देयर आर 2 टाइप्स ऑफ things in biology. One is called as the conceptual biology. Say, for example, the human physiology. What would be the interaction of insulin and glucagon on blood glucose level? How does hypothalamus regulates the body temperature? Why C4 plant is capable of conserving water in humid conditions, in hot humid conditions? What are the differences between the C4 and C3 plants, etc.? There will be some conceptual questions. What is oxidative phosphorylation? What is photophosphorylation? For that matter, how is ATP synthesized in the body? What is the reason that phospholipids are used to make the cell membrane? So these are the conceptual questions. Then there are some factual questions. So some factual question would be that Montreal Protocol was held in. So the Earth Summit was held at this place. And we have so many bones in the cranium. We have so many bones in the facial skeleton. In the skull region, this is the number of the bone. And this is a single bone which is called as hyoid. This is a sternum. There are 12 pairs of ribs. The first 7 pairs are called as the vertebrosternal or true ribs. Then the 8th, 9th, 10th are called as vertebrochondral or false rib. And 11th, 12th are floating ribs. For example, glycolysis, glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-biphosphate. It breaks down into DHAP and G3P. G3P, then 1,3-BPG, then 3PG, then 2PG, then phosphoenol pyruvate and pyruvate. So these are the 10 steps. So what I have done right now is that because I have revised it again and again over a lot of period of times, so I am teaching this biology for more than 20 years to more than 10-12 batches per year. Now just imagine the amount of repetition that I have done, and just now you could see that I was able to recite the steps of glycolysis without any thinking at all. It becomes a reflex action. Actually, I would say it becomes a stereotyped action. So this is what the basal ganglia in your brain do. आप जब सुबह वॉशरूम में जाते हैं और अपना ब्रश करते हैं तो सोच के नहीं करते हैं. So there is a stereotype movement in driving, there is a stereotype movement in brush, and therefore अगर आप खाना खा रहे हैं, if you are having food और अचानक लाइट चली जाए तो खाना नाक में नहीं घुसता है, खाना मुंह में ही जाता है. Now this is what practice is. So the problem is, what is the mistake that students commit? Mistake ये है कि ये factual information को students postpone for the last time. So ये कहते हैं कि एग्जाम से जस्ट पहले याद रहेगा, इसको याद रखने की कोशिश करेंगे. अभी नहीं करते, अभी कंसेप्ट करते हैं और लास्ट में जाकर के हम क्या करेंगे, एग्जाम से कुछ दिन पहले केवल फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन को याद करने की कोशिश करेंगे. दिस इज अ बैड मिस्टेक बिकॉज देयर आर सो मेनी फैक्ट्स. And if you are postponing it and the time is limited, believe me, there would be pressure and there would be confusion and there would be chaos or monster ban jayega. Panic will be created in your brain and you will be actually panic paralyzed. I would say the brain paralysis, the paralysis not in literal sense, that means there would be brain fog. आप में से कुछ लोगों ने कहा था जो एग्जाम में आपके सामने आ सकता है. So this is a very important thing. So what is the idea? The idea is jot down the facts, make a fact sheet, and daily keep 1 hour to revise your fact sheet. Do not try to mug it up. Do not just go through the fact sheets again and again. Believe me, in 1 hour you can actually go through large number of fact sheets. अगर आपने meticulously fact sheets बनाई हुई हैं और अगर आप उनको रोज एक बार रिवाइज कर रहे हैं तो 5-7 बार रिवीजन के बाद में रटने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Majority of the thing आपके अंदर आ जाएगा. So when there is a synapse junction between 2 neurons, when the same information goes again and again through the synapse, it becomes facilitated, and this is what in biology is called as memory. So इसको memory कहते हैं. So कई बार बच्चे बड़े मेरे से कहते हैं कि सर मेरी memory अच्छी नहीं है, उसकी memory अच्छी है. I ask them to recite Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and almost invariably every student is able to do it. Now which means that their memory is not bad. पिछले 10 साल में उन्होंने किसी को नहीं सुनाई, अभी तक कैसे याद है? The reason is that we know that the memory is formed by certain steps. First you observe something, then you fix attention, and then you register in the brain. So this is what is called as the short-term memory, and this is the function of a part of your brain which is called as thalamus. And then you go home, you revise, and later on a particular date, you do what is known as recall. So this recall may be teaching others and basically reciting in front of others, or it may be a test. And this is what is converting the short-term memory into long-term memory. This is the function of hippocampus. So मैंने ज्यादातर बच्चों को यहाँ प्रॉब्लम करते देखा है. So students are able to sit in the class, they observe, they fix attention, they register, they go home. Some of them are not able to revise, they procrastinate, and then it does not get converted into long-term memory. And most importantly, they are not doing what is called as recall. And then there is a problem. There is a problem. This thing is likely to be lost. So इस process को समझिए. This is biology. ये भाषणबाजी नहीं है. ये biology है बेटे. ऐसे ही क्या बनती है, memory बनती है. आपको ये करना पड़ेगा बड़े आसानी से. टाइम बहुत है आपके पास. टाइम बहुत है. सो मुझे उम्मीद है मैंने थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया इस चैप्टर को, इस सब्जेक्ट को लेकर के. अच्छा हाँ, एक चीज और. So ये factual information आपने fact sheet बनाई, keep on revising again and again, again and again, again and again. This is the method of doing 50% of the biology. And the conceptual biology, read it meticulously once, read the paragraph, go back, relax, reflect, jot down what is the basic concept that you have understood, just compare it with the information given in the NCRT, and then go for questions. So now you don't have to do it again and again, the conceptual question. Now you have understood the concept. Now basically what you need is variety of questions, because that will tell you whether you know the concept well or not. So the factual biology, this is just making fact notes, fact sheets, revising them again and again, again and again. And the conceptual biology, read it once meticulously, invest time, and go for variety of the questions. This is how biology should be catered to. Any questions? Ji, madam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. N.K. I think आपने बड़ा clearly सबको बता दिया that you must first try to identify what is the conceptual part and what is the factual part.
जी.
Conceptual part को समझो, खुद समझो, अपने peers के साथ discuss करो, अपने छोटे भाई बहनों को पढ़ा दो, कोई हर्ज नहीं है, लेकिन जब दूसरे को पढ़ाओगे तो खुद समझ में आ जाएगा कि तुम्हारा concept कितना clear है.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
और फैक्चुअल चीजों को नोट करके रखो, उसके नोट्स बनाओ छोटे छोटे, और उसको बार बार पढ़ो. वो आपको फिर आपकी साइनस की स्पीड जो है ना, वो बहुत फास्ट हो जाती है. देयर इज नो साइनेप्टिक डिले.
यस सर.
सो नाउ वी हैव सम क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू, एंड दो क्वेश्चंस आर कॉमन क्वेश्चन. आपको पता है क्वेश्चन बच्चे यही पूछेंगे कि कौन सी किताबें पढ़ी जाएं, व्हाट आर द इंपॉर्टेंट बुक्स.
Nothing but NCERT. This question is self-explained, self-answered. This is NCERT. I will not ask you to read anything else. This is with respect to, I am talking about my subject. This is biology. Please invest time. This is the only problem. This is not a bad book. Do not have the impression that there is less amount of information and something which is very important is missing from the NCRT. No, you have to invest the time, then you will find that everything is there in your textbook. Now, the idea is you must have some patience and give diligent time to the text matter here.
There is a related question to this, that do we need to get some defined text material for objective questions?
Yes,
practice the objective questions.
Yes, that is a valid question. So you read text from NCRT, and then obviously when I told you that there is a method of recall by test, so when you are given test, then you actually recall what you have remembered, what you have read. So this is another very good method of recall. If you are not able to teach somebody, if you are not amongst your peer, the better thing would be to take test. And there is a requirement of a relevant and contemporarily relevant test series. Now, what does it mean? I can make some questions from human physiology and plant physiology only. And these 90 questions may be so difficult that majority of the students will not be able to attempt, say, for example, 80 out of 90. This is possible to make such a test paper. But do you think it is useful? Are these kinds of questions being asked in the entrances? So we should be absolutely sure about the contemporary methods of the questions that are being asked in the NEET entrance exam. They are almost direct. They are not heavily worded. They are not very much twisted. They are direct questions from the lines of NCRT, almost all of them. And therefore, this has happened by the time, from the time the NTA has taken over now we have 4 or 5 papers of NTA with us. So we know that what is the pattern. Rare things are rarely asked in the entrance examination. A student getting only 150 out of 360. Can this student tell me कि सर 2 क्वेश्चन ऐसे थे जो एनसीईआरटी के बाहर थे इसलिए मेरा नहीं हुआ? पेपर था 360 का, 2 क्वेश्चन किसके बाहर थे? एनसीईआरटी के. So the person should have scored 352. The person is scoring 150. Do you think these 2 questions are to be blamed? इससे ज्यादा नहीं होंगे बेटे. The thing is that there will be 85 plus questions from NCRT. Are you getting all of them correct without any unforced error? That is where the success lies. Rare things are rarely asked in entrances.
Obviously, the next question is important topics that one should not leave at all.
Okay. Now it would be, so somebody who is going for medical entrance. So somebody who is going for medical entrance normally believes that he or she is very good in biology. And probably the problem is in physics. So this is what I have seen with 90% of these students. So this is one subject which is probably your core strength. There are 10 units, and believe me, they are almost equally represented in the paper. So if you are looking at 10 units, then you are looking at 9 questions out of each unit, approximately, give and take 1 or 2. So it may happen that sometimes abnormally skewed paper may be formed. For example, in this year, biotechnology was having 13 questions, and there was no question from neural system. But that is an aberrancy. Normally, you will get questions from every unit, and every chapter will be represented. The last year paper was an abnormality. There was an aberrancy. There was no question from the neural system, and there was no question from the kidney, the excretory products and their elimination chapter, 2 of the most difficult chapters in human physiology. But that is an aberrancy. You cannot prepare for an aberrancy. So the idea is that you cannot miss anything in biology for the simple reason that this is the subject where you are trying to score 340, and actually my target is 360. So if you are going for 360 out of 360, let me remind you the topic of today's webinar. Do you think that I am going to advise you that please do not read this chapter? But what I am going to advise you, if you understand, will change your life. Now please try to understand this very clearly. Keep everything in correct perspective. What does it mean? The mean is that do not be influenced by your comfort zone. So for example, I have seen students studying animal kingdom for 3 months, and there are only 2 or 3 very simple questions asked from animal kingdom. So this is a bad strategy. Do not invest 2 or 3 months in animal kingdom. We know that there will be 3 questions, and one of the questions would be on the basis of the classification. The second question would be on the characteristic feature of a particular class, and we cannot say about one more. But please remember this: for 3 questions, you do not spend 3 months. That is the problem students do, because they find this chapter easy, they find this chapter controllable. Sometimes they start having very good liking for the chapter, and because if this becomes a comfort zone, you are likely to give so much amount of time to this particular chapter that it will put at peril the preparation for the other important chapters, where probably the number of questions may be more, time investment is more, and more value for time you will get in the entrance examination. So this is what obviously should be done. So if we just now I have told you something about animal kingdom, so there is no need for doing n number of crosses in the Mendel genetics. So आप मेरे से कहेंगे सर आप बायोलॉजी से 4 हटा रहे हैं, लेकिन आप पिछले 4-5 साल का पेपर उठा करके मुझे किसी मेंडेलियन क्रॉस पर क्वेश्चन दिखाइए. Rarely. Rarely they ask dihybrid cross mein ye hai, monohybrid cross mein ye hai. No. So this type of questions are now rarely asked. And we keep on practicing different types of very, very complicated crosses from this book, that book, from the study material of this institute and that institute, without knowing whether this is impactful. And as Sir said in the last session, whether this is a smart study. So you will have to work hard. But if you work smart, I think it is going to give you better dividends. Yes, sir.
They want to know the important topics. One should not leave.
The most important topics, as I would say, is that anything where you get the single unit which has maximum number of questions. This would be unit 5. So we are talking about human physiology. So human physiology, you can be absolutely sure that you can get anything between 13 to 15 questions. So this is the number, this is the one unit where you get maximum number of questions. Now the recent trend is about biotechnology, unit number 9. So unit number 9, biotechnology, is now given more and more importance in the NEET entrance examination. So we are finding that the number of questions, they are very stereotyped. There are some limited number of questions, but biotechnology is also reaching approximately 10 and sometimes may go up to more than 10 as well. And similarly, unit 7. And in unit 7, I would say chapter number 5 and 6, again, you can understand that this would be around 12 questions. So rest of the units will be 7-8 questions each. Yes, sir.
Okay, so, I think if you can tell them what are the vital topics and what are essential, and like you said, like animal kingdom is desirable.
Yes, sir.
Human physiology is vital.
Vital.
Isn't it? So we can tell them some subjects which are essential also.
Sir, if we go for class 12, so if we go for class 12, let us, sir, there can be another webinar on this. Okay, there can be another webinar on this. So what we will do, sir, that I will just tell the students something about class 12. And if this is what is in their mind, so we will require an 1 hour complete for class 11th as well, sir.
All right. So what we'll do, Priya, I think you can note down for another webinar on important topics in biology.
So let us say human reproduction. So if you are talking about the chapter number 3, human reproduction, so what are the most important things that you must know? So you are very comfortable in the male reproductive system. I know that. So I know that is your comfort zone. But the basic thing that I want to remind you right now is about the menstrual cycle. Are you absolutely sure about the hormonal regulation of the menstrual cycle, the key events that are happening in the female during the menstrual cycle, especially the interplay between the gonadotropins and the gonadal steroid hormones? So in the various phases of the menstrual cycle, this is a concept where a difficult question can be asked. And this is, if you are not comfortable, please go through it again. So male reproductive system would be easy. So we are moving on to the female reproductive system. The vital thing would be whether you know about the events of menstrual cycle or not. And then there would be the implantation, fertilization and implantation. And then later on the placenta, parturition, lactation, they are basically factual questions. So there is a paragraph given in the Ncrt which gives you some milestones during the development of the gestation period in the human beings. So by the end of the 1 year, or by the end of the 1 month, this is formed. By the end of the 2nd month, this is formed. Please make a table. They are the only events that will be asked in the entrance examination. So this is how you approach human reproduction. When you go to reproductive health, so they will ask you about what is the advantage of natural methods of contraception. How will you compare the natural and the other methods of the contraception? What is the mechanism of copper in copper releasing IUDs? What is emergency contraceptive? And they will ask you about Central Drug Research Institute or meloxifene, what is called as Saheli. So these are some very important things that they can ask. Then going on, they can ask you about the infertility aspect. What is ZIFT? What are the indications? What is artificial insemination? What is intrauterine insemination? What exactly is assisted reproductive technology? So if you go to sexual reproduction in flowering plant, so immediately you know something about the walls of the pollen. So the pollen exine and pollen intine, microspore tetrad, and you must be knowing about the walls that are present in the pollen grain, the role of tapetum. These are the important questions that come to my mind. Without knowing the answers to these questions, you cannot actually go to the entrance examination. Similarly, what is a microspore mother cell? How is a monosporic type of female gametophyte developed? What is the number of flea nuclear division? What are the number of the cells organized at the callosal end, at the micropylar end? What is a polar nucleus? Where is the filiform apparatus located? They can ask you about the ploidy. What is the ploidy of the cells, say for example of nucellus, of the integument? So these are the rapid fire questions that I can tell you. We can record this session and I can keep on going for 1 hour, and I can give you hundreds of questions that you can actually later on stop the video and see whether you know the answer to them or not, if this is what they are asking for. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll have a separate session on important topics in biology.
Sir, in 1 hour, I can give them, sir, probably 150 questions.
Yeah, we'll go and we'll consider this a bit later. Now, the another question that is coming up is that what should I focus on first, zoology or botany?
The first thing is that now, because still there is considerable amount of time, I always advise students not to neglect their strengths. So they invest so much in their weakness sometimes that they forget about their strength, because you have to play at your strength as well. So again, that staring, as I told you, the 5-star chapters, you will have to periodically review. So if I were to advise you, so I will tell this specific person that today is the time to go through very rapidly those strength chapters of yours. Once, finish them as soon as possible. These are 5-star chapters. You don't need to invest time. Take 1 or 2 days and quickly revise them. And then do the questions, and then you come on to your basic weakness, the phobia, and try to invest time. This would be the approach that I will advise you right now.
Thank you, Dr. N.K. Now, one writes, have revised all the topics. What should I do now? He's a happy student.
Test yourself, and please try to maintain your temperament and try to maintain your positivity and self-confidence. Do not let any doubt creep in your mind. You have done well, and it is very, very important to feel proud as well. So do not be, for the sake of humbleness, do not be self-critical. You have done well. You have practiced everything. This is a very good position to be in, and please try to maintain. And I always feel that to reach a particular place is easy. To keep yourself there is actually more difficult. So this is the time where you increase your effort, because now you are in selection range. And if you are in selection range, because every good student in their heart know that what exactly is happening to him or her, what is or her standing, it is absolutely clear. So you will be absolutely sure that what is going to happen with you. And once you start thinking that you are getting a good college, then there is an unusual type of pressure that comes in. And now it is the game of mental toughness. It is the game of temperament. Keep positive and keep in the right framework of mind. Take a very good care of your health and keep doing tests.
I think that answers it. So your answer is test yourself, keep a temperament, and yes, I would add one more T.
Yes,
that sir. Teach your less fortunate ones.
Yes.
You will recapitulate, and it will help you to reinforce and understand whether you really understood or not.
Yes, sir. Ek cheez aur, sir. So what I have seen is God has mysterious ways. So if you do something for somebody, it comes back to you in a positive manner. कब आएगा, कैसे आएगा, नहीं पता. किसी का भला कर दीजिए. अगर आप किसी को पढ़ा रहे हैं तो आपकी सीट नहीं छिन रही है, इस गलतफहमी में मत रहना. मैं इतने सालों से लोगों को पढ़ा रहा हूं, किसी ने मेरी सीट नहीं छीन ली है. So please try to remember this. This narrow-minded approach is wrong, and sir is absolutely right. अगर आप ये कर सके, अगर आप दूसरों को पढ़ा सके, तो ना केवल आप सेलेक्ट होंगे, आप बहुत बड़े इंसान बनेंगे. बहुत कम लोग इस चीज को कर पाते हैं. अपने लिए हर एक करता है, दूसरे के लिए करना इतना आसान काम नहीं है, और जिसमें आपका फायदा हो रहा है, क्योंकि आप जिसको पढ़ा रहे हैं वो रिवीजन आपका हो रहा है. उसे कितना याद हो रहा है ये तो पता नहीं, लेकिन आप पूरी तरह से रिकॉल करके पूरी तरह से तैयार हो रहे हैं.
Next question is, how can I remember the difficult diagrams, words, definitions, and formulas?
Okay. So there is no formula, fortunately, in biology to say there will be heart rate into stroke volume is equal to cardiac output. That would be the problem. That will be the formula that comes to my mind when we talk about biology. So fortunately, we do not have that problem even I am not an authority on this. I am not an authority on this. The thing is that when I talk to my colleagues who are very, very good teachers of physics, so when I talk to them, they say, sir, that in every chapter there are only 5, 7 or maximum 10 formulae. So the student need to write those 5, 7 or 10 formulae right at the beginning, and for every formula try to attempt 5 different types of questions. So that would be a pool of around 50 questions. So this is what they say. So you have, say, for example, 10 formulae, and these 10 formulae, the problem is that you can do only one type of question in the entrance examination. And if you get another type of question, then there is a problem. So there is a formula that is fixed, and you get hold of different kinds of questions. So just do 5, 6 different types of questions. Again, see whether you have done these type of questions, and then you will see that suddenly you are getting a very, very good score in physics. This is what physics people tell me, and I actually find it very prudent, because in a physics examination, everybody knows the formula. How to apply the formula in a given concept, in a given situation, will be very, very critical. What not to do may be actually more critical than what to do. And therefore, what I am saying, that this thing looks very appealing to me, that you apply this formula in 5 different situations, and then you are absolutely ready for the exam.
So another thing is that one more question, the same person, okay, difficult diagrams. Diagrams come in biology.
So if we look at the diagrams, so the basic thing is that you are not going to get diagrams, say, for example, of everything in biology. So what are the key diagrams? So just think of any chapter. So there are, say, for example, we talked about sexual reproduction in flowering plant. So wall of the Ncert. This is a very, very important diagram. Every diagram in this chapter is important. So every diagram in this chapter is important. So you have to see these. You don't have to make them beautifully in your paper. On your paper. So you don't have to be an artist and just try to draw rough diagrams again and again and see what exactly are you comfortable. Again, the idea is that please draw these diagrams roughly. I do not want you to reproduce the diagram as such as given in the Ncrt with multicolors. No wasting of time. Just you can make a ray diagram sort of things, a functional diagram. And then you go to biomolecules. So there is a page in biomolecules where 15-20 structures are given of different biomolecules. And I know that this year there would be one question from those 15. Now, this is 4 numbers for the taking. Now, please draw it again and again. The structure, the difference between ribose and deoxyribose, the difference between what is the structure of the palmitic acid, what is the exact structure of the phospholipid, which is lecithin, when R is equal to CH2OH, which amino acid it is, and what is the structure of the tail in cholesterol. So rest assured, there would be one question. Similarly, the tables are very important. So I will be going out of your question, and I will divert your attention to tables as well. So for example, in biomolecules, there is a table on secondary metabolite. So after the session, you watch, you look for the 5-year papers and see for yourself that this question has been asked for 3 years in last 5 years. Now just imagine the impact, the importance of this particular table. The table, I think it is 9.3 or 9.4 something. It is the table in biomolecules. What I am saying is, please cross-check it, that this has been asked probably 3 times in the last 5 papers. Just imagine, these are the types of the pearls that we have. We already should be in a position of knowing the 500 or 600 questions. There must be a pool of 500 or 600 questions that we have studied, and we know that 60 to 70 will be appearing in the entrance examination. This can be done in biology.
Okay. Next question is a slightly a sad one.
Yes, sir.
I did not score well in mock test or pre-boards. I am very demotivated. Should I prepare for another year and give the NEET examination then?
Okay. Okay. You are in class 12 or you have dropped a year?
This has not been given here.
Okay. Okay. So let us presume that the student is in class 12, sir.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the student is probably thinking of doing well in boards and then giving 1 more year. My submission is, make a small target. That means you are appearing in the class 12 entrance exam, class 12 board examination. So you are reading NCRT, forget about class 11th, try to focus on class 12, and just you tell yourself. So अपने आप को एक बात का विश्वास दिलाइए, भरोसा दिलाइए कि केवल 12th में से जो भी एंट्रेंस में आ जाएगा उसको मैं ठीक करके आऊंगा. I think this is a very fair thing that I am talking about. Suppose you have not read class 11th, doesn't matter. Okay, it is okay to give 1 more year. There is no problem at all. But you should drop a year from a position of strength. Now, how does it happen? So that means in the limited time, give yourself a target. So, okay, these are the months available. I will go in the entrance examination. I have read class 12, and whatever comes in the NEET entrance examination, I will try to do very well, and then analyze the result. And then see that whether you were able to achieve the target that you have fixed for yourself, even to 60-70% of the magnitude. And that gives you strength to give 1 more year. And please remember, it is not easy to drop. It is not easy to stay back at home and doing a preparation all alone. It is not easy. But if you go with a position of the strength, then that is the better position. Try to give you a small target and do this, achieve this. Immediately you can extrapolate that if in these 3 months I could have done this much, then what would happen if I am giving 1 year to the best of my capability? That would be giving a year from your position of the strength. I am presuming that you are right when you say that probably you have not invested time in a significant portion of biology, and you are not feeling confident that there may be a problem this year. So I am taking this to be true. And if it is true, then this is the alternate method that I would suggest you. Yes, sir.
How to reduce negative marking in biology section?
So the first thing is very easy, sir. 200 minutes this time. So this time the duration of the exam has been increased. Now it is not 180 minutes, it is 200 minutes. And still there is section B. Section B, you will get 15 questions. You will have to attempt 10 questions out of them. Now, what would be your excuse if you get 9 out of 15? What would be your excuse? The only excuse is that you are not giving the due diligence. You are not giving the due respect to the examiner. You are not giving the proper time. There is no way. Now, remember my words. There will be some good students who will not commit even a single mistake in section B, because now they have time. So which means you go through all 15 questions, select your best 10, and then mark them in OMR. There is no need of giving the first 10. Even if you know the first 10, please do not be complacent and do not directly mark. This is section B. At least please see all the 15 questions, and then even there is an iota of doubt in any question, do not do it. So this is a simple thing that you need to remember. This is a simple thing that you need to remember. The second thing is that if an easy question, the answer is very easily A option or option number 1, please look at all the 4 choices. Please look at all the 4 choices. So bile salts help in emulsification. The question may be bile pigments help in. I asked this question last time as well. So bile pigments help in. The bile pigments do not help in emulsification of fat. It will be bile salt. So please, जब भी आपके सामने किसी बहुत आसान क्वेश्चन का आंसर बहुत आसानी से 1 आ रहा है, तो मैंने देखा है कि इसमें आप कम से कम एक बार 4 चॉइस देख लीजिए. दूसरी चीज, ऑलवेज ट्राई टू हाइड द चॉइसेस, बिकॉज दिस इज ट्रू. जिस टाइम पे मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन आपके सामने आता है, इवन बिफोर कंप्लीटिंग द क्वेश्चन यू गो थ्रू द चॉइसेस एंड देन योर माइंड इज बायस्ड टू अ पर्टिकुलर चॉइस एंड you will not be able to see not, you will not be able to see except in the question. The mind will show you what you know. So mind will show you what you know, and you will not be able to see what is being asked. There is a difference between the two things. So what I say is that hide the choices and read the question twice. There is a lot of time. Read the question twice, try to think what is the answer, then remove the hand and then see the choice. If it is there, almost always it will be correct. So this is a very useful thing that I have seen. Yes, sir.
Last question is, what should I do to remember difficult or similar words?
What should I do to
remember difficult or similar words?
Okay. Difficult or similar words. I'm struggling to find an example in biology, sir. But there would be nothing difficult in biology, bete. Can you give me an example? So the idea is that no, whatever it is, say for example, bile salt, bile pigment. It may be confusing. It may not be difficult, but there are something very similar, and there is a problem. There is a problem that you are likely to commit mistake. Probably this is the thing that the student is asking. So the thing is that please make a list of them. This actually amazes me. So it amazes me that we repeat the same mistakes and expect a different result. So this is very unusual. So once a person doesn't get a result and the next time does not do a very good feedback and does not do a ruthless analysis that what was actually the problem, and without correcting the problem does more hard work and again is thinking of getting a different result, that doesn't happen. So the thing is that you will have to change the method somewhere. So I am very amazed at the students that they do not have their small notebooks just before the exams. So what not me, I was in a batch, sir was in a batch in AFMC where all others were selected. So we were not alone. So if we had qualified AIPMT, sir had qualified AFMC. So if he was in a batch of 70-80 students, then all other 70-80 students must have qualified the tough exam, which is called as AFMC. There is a common denominator. Are they most intelligent? The answer is no. There are many students who were much more intelligent in my batch than myself, and they were not selected. I was, because I was more diligent. I was more smart. So I was doing hard work. I was reductioning the thing. I was keeping everything into my journal, and just before the exam, I was never opening the entire textbook. मैंने बहुत से बच्चों को ये देखा है कि एग्जाम से पहले इधर फिजिक्स खोल ली, इधर केमिस्ट्री खोल ली, इधर बॉटनी खोल ली, और उनकी समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करना है, एंड दे लूज देयर कूल एंड पैनिक मॉन्स्टर डेवलप्स. हाथ पैर फूल जाते हैं, रोना आ जाता है, माँ बाप को भी एक बार वो कर देते हैं, डरा देते हैं, एंड देन से कि मेरे से कुछ नहीं हो रहा. सो व्हाई आर यू ओपनिंग दीज टेक्स्ट बुक्स? मेरा कहने का मतलब ये जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स हैं जो आपको दुख देते हैं, इनको एक पेज पे आपने लिखना है. अभी भी आपके पास टाइम है, और यही वो चीज है जो एग्जाम से पहले देखनी है. दिस इज द ओनली थिंग. and tell your heart, वो जैसे कौन सी पिक्चर थी, all is well, which means कि सब कुछ ठीक है, आ जाएगा याद, बिल्कुल आ जाएगा. After all, it is just an exam, nothing more than that. It is not equal to your life's worth. Yes, sir.
I think that's all. My take on remembering difficult or similar word is use them. Just use them and understand them. A very simple example, autotroph. Auto means self. Troph means nutrition. Those organisms capable of nourishing themselves are called autotrophs. So yes, break the words. Cytokinesis. Cytoplasm. Cyto means cell. Kinesis means movement. The movement of the cytoplasm in cell that result in two daughter cells. I'm just saying all that. I don't know. You are a better teacher on all this. But if I have difficult words, I try to separate them and understand the meaning of each word. I will never forget the difficulty of the word.
Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely agree.
Just use the words and try to analyze that words into its separate meanings. If a difficult word is there, you can definitely break it. And break it into such that the meaning becomes simpler. So with this, I think we have come to the end of a very, very interesting session. It has actually lasted for 1 hour and we didn't know that 1 hour has gone by.
Okay, sir.
Yes, so thank you very much, Dr. N.K Sharma, for such a wonderful disposition on how to score maximum marks in biology. जो सबसे बड़ी important बात बोली है कि आप स्कोर के बारे में मत सोचो, आप बोलो मैं किस तरीके से प्रिपेयर करूं कि मैं मैक्सिमम स्कोर करके ले जाऊं. तो think about preparation, don't think about score, because score will stress you, but preparation will prepare you. So please focus on preparation. उन्होंने preparation आपके लिए important चीजें बोली हैं कि आप सिर्फ NCERT textbook पे focus करिए. So focus on NCERT textbooks. In that NCERT textbook, please isolate the conceptual items from the factual items. Conceptual item को बार बार पढ़िए, उसको understand करिए, उसका concept जो है वो clear कर लीजिए, उसके बाद वो आपको कोई परेशानी नहीं देगा. But factual question, write them down and read them over and over again. You will remember them. No need to do rotification for them.
बिल्कुल.
Next thing is that test yourself. If you don't test yourself, you will not know where you are. So test yourself. Your test will tell you where are your strengths and where are your weaknesses. So come back to your weaknesses, address them, and where you are strengths, don't leave them. Keep on maintaining your strengths by sharing your knowledge with others, and at the same point of time, by trying to teach others, and keep a good temperament, which is not speaking of arrogance or complacency, but giving you quiet confidence. Okay, and finally, of course, you must time yourself and choose your questions wisely. If you have got a choice, don't go by the first 10 questions of section B, but please go through the 15 questions. That is why you have got additional time, because you have to read 20 questions. You have to read 15 questions to answer 10 questions. So those 15 questions must be read. Maybe you know the last 5 better than the top 10.
Yes.
So please focus on those things. So I think your strategy is very simple, and this is the strategy which you must follow, not only for biology, but also for your other subjects. It will probably ease your pressures and it will help you to prioritize. Of course, the topics that you need to prioritize is already given examples like human physiology and genetics, and some biotechnology had come last time. So he has told you even what important topics within human physiology and reproduction, what topics and how they can lead to each other topic. So all those things are beautifully brought out. We will have a separate session on this important topics in biology. We'll come back to which are the vital ones without which don't even think of appearing for NEET, which are the essential ones which will help you to get additional marks, and which are the desirable ones which you need to know so that a 1 or 2 odd questions that come, you can answer them correctly. So probably we'll do a VD analysis for them next time. Thank you very much, Dr. N.K Sharma. Thank you, Priya. Thank you all the dear students. We will see you till the next webinar. All the best to all of you. You can keep in touch with us. Priya, final words from you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. N.K. Sharma, sir. Very soon we will release the topic for our next webinar. So we hope these are the productive sessions for all our NEET aspirants. And also I request them, if they have any particular topic in mind which they want Dr. Sharma sir to take on, they can feel free to write us on our email ID or on the comment section of this video. Thank you. All the best, everybody.
Thank you very much.